Hi everyone, and welcome to Q2 wellness class. We're talking about everyday aromatherapy, and we will be discussing creating intentional wellness routines. So I'm joined by my bestie Taigu, who also happens to be a doTERRA user, and she'll be sharing her experience with us a bit later on. So before we go very far, we're going to pray over the broadcast, and then we are going to get right into it. Okay. So, Father, in the name of Jesus, I thank you for this day. You are still God and you are still good. This is the day that the Lord has made. We rejoice and we're glad in it. I thank you for an opportunity to share this passion and love for essential oils with others. And I thank you for your revelation, your insight, your knowledge, even as I teach this topic on everyday aromatherapy. I pray that you'll bless those who will listen to this class. I pray that it will empower people to make better and intentional choices for their wellness, and that it will serve them better and serve them well as they go along their wellness journey. We pray over the broadcast, and we pray for a successful completion of this class and all the other classes. We commit everything into your able hands. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right, so getting right along into it, this particular class of everyday aromatherapy is actually the last foundational class that I'm doing. I've already done 2, Building Wellness Habits for 2023 and Self-Care with Essential Oils. And you can check out the recordings on YouTube at Brie Orata. So why do I say that this class in particular is the last of the foundational classes? Because I have been talking about how to get into using essential oils for your wellness. I have found that 99% of people don't really follow through with essential oils. Essential oils are supposed to be used. You're supposed to use them. There's no point in buying an oil if you're just going to store it in your shelf somewhere. So you want to be able to have a follow-through plan that will allow you to go through with essential oils. So what I've been doing has been gleaning from my own experience and the experience of my friends and customers as they have been using essential oils. And it is my prayer that after going through these classes, you'll have a better idea of how to structure your own essential oil usage so that it can help you along your wellness journey. Okay, so for those who don't know me, my name is Brie. I've been using essential oils since 2010, but I've been using doTERRA essential oils since 2015. And so my passion lies in educating people how to use essential oils as a wellness tool every day, safely and effectively. So karibuni sana to this class for today. And I'm not a doctor, FYI. So this is an informational webinar. It's not intended to replace medical advice. It's also very specific to doTERRA essential oils because that's what I use, that's what I know, and that's what I have experience with. So you're encouraged to make healthcare decisions based on research and in partnership with your healthcare provider. And if you're curious and you just want to find out how to use essential oils, and specifically how to use doTERRA essential oils, you're in the right place. This class is for you. So today we're going to talk about everyday aromatherapy. What is it? What does it entail? We're going to talk about how to create your essential oil-based wellness routine. And I'm going to give you about 5 tips that I have found that can help set you up for success. And the last part of this class, we're going to talk about building habits from Taigu's experience. This is actually one of my favorite portions of class because we get to hear from other people who are not me on how they have been using essential oils. I talk a lot about essential oils and I realize I rarely give an opportunity to other people who are using it to share. So this for me is actually very exciting because I also get to learn with the rest of you. So getting started, essential oils are for everybody. And this is the backbone and the philosophy, the guiding philosophy of how I teach about essential oils, that it should be so simple that anyone, anywhere can use essential oils every day. Once upon a time, essential oils and aromatherapy was a preserve of a chosen few. You had to go to school, you had to pay some serious money for you to be called a certified aromatherapist. Now, everyday aromatherapy just really builds on the fact that essential oils are therapeutic and have a beneficial effect on the body, on the mind, and it draws on the knowledge of science and creative ways to bring essential oils into everyday routines. And I guess this is one of the blessings that having an essential oil and aromatherapy industry blow up has been. It has made essential oils accessible to everyone. And with a little bit of education, due diligence, and proper and pure essential oils, everybody and anybody is able to make use of the therapeutic properties of oils in their wellness. And this is just, if you ask me, this then becomes a revolutionary cornerstone in addressing wellness. So one of the things I've talked about, and I talked about this in the very first class I did, was that, wellness is a personal responsibility. Wellness is proactive. Wellness is a lifestyle. It's a series of everyday actions that you're taking that lead you towards optimal wellness and health. So you don't just sit back and say that my health and wellness is going to be in the hands of the doctors. The doctors have a place. And if you also again go back to that very same class of building wellness habits, I discussed in some detail the wellness pyramid. And the wellness pyramid just consists of a series of actions around rest and relaxation, stress management, movement and exercise, diet and nutrition, informed self-care. And at the very top of that pyramid, so it keeps going up. At the very top of that pyramid comes medical care. So 90% of your wellness needs are going to be met by the lifestyle actions and choices that you take. So another thing about essential oils that I've really come to appreciate is the fact that using essential oils is both a science and an art. And I'm going to use lavender as my example in this case. So what makes essential oils therapeutic are the chemical compounds that it contains. So for example, lavender contains a chemical compound known as linalool, which has been studied, and it has been found that this compound promotes relaxation and calmness within the body. So that is the science part. So how do we take this scientific information and knowledge and translate it into our everyday life, which turns it into an art form? So for example, I might be having issues sleeping, or I might be stressed. So I will look and see that lavender has linalool in it, and so I am going to my shower, my evening bath, and it will help me relax and wind down. Or for example, I can also see that I live a really stressful day. My work is very stressful. So I'm going to come and diffuse like 2 drops of lavender in my work environment, just to kind of help me calm down and not hold on to a lot of stress. So in that way, we are making use of the information we have received from the science research and imposing it on our everyday routines and our everyday lifestyle, which is what makes it possible for us to use essential oils and to make use of the benefits of aromatherapy every single day. All right, so I will be checking to the site because I have a couple of notes here that would help me better present what I'm teaching. So I don't know how many of you have heard about habit stacking. So habit stacking became popular around let's just say 2010 or thereabouts or thereafter. And it's actually a strategy. So one of the things that help us in determining or defining concepts is by breaking down the various words. So what is a strategy? A strategy is a careful plan towards a goal. And in this case, the goal that we're looking towards is wellness as a goal. I defined wellness again in the very first video that I ever did. So you can go back and take a look at that. So if habit stacking is a strategy, it is a careful plan towards a goal. It can also be described, a strategy can also be described as a blueprint, a game plan, a tactic, a design, a roadmap, an intent. So we can see that habit stacking is a roadmap towards wellness in this case. Habit stacking is a blueprint, is a game plan. It's how are we going to move from here towards wellness. So habit stacking is a strategy that you can use to group together small changes into a routine that you follow every day. So Most of us shower every day. Most of us have some form of a drink water every day. Most of us brush our teeth every day. Most of us have to change our clothes every day, but we also all sleep every day. So the question is, how can we fit essential oils as a blueprint that would lead us towards wellness? That is the question. That is what this particular class is all about. It's incorporating essential oils into everyday routine. So, for example, if it is that I take a bath every day, how can I use essential oils to turn my showering experience to lead me towards the goal of wellness? We have seen that in the wellness pyramid, self-care is a really big part of this. So if I use something like spearmint and basil in my evening shower, for example, I have incorporated essential oils into my showering routine, which is going to help me towards my goal of wellness, because I am trying to have a more informed and nurturing self-care practice. I hope that is a bit clearer. The other thing could be, for example, I know that sleep and rest is part of the wellness pyramid, it's part of my wellness goal. So how can I introduce essential oils into my sleep routine to help me towards sleeping better, which is part of my wellness goal? So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to share with you 5 or so tips that I have found that if you diligently apply some of these tips and take this to heart, it would help your experience with essential oils more stickable. At the end of the day, what we want is stickability. We want follow through. We want to be able to use essential oils as part of our wellness lifestyle so that we don't start and stop halfway. So we don't buy oils and look at them. So that we don't get carried around in the hype. Because the truth of the matter is a lot of these wellness trends will become a fad if you don't act on them. It's just a good idea, like, oh yeah, essential oils are a good wellness idea, or exercise is a good wellness idea. Because you're not acting on it, you would only get the benefits of your wellness lifestyle if you follow through and if you do it every single day. So this page here, where I'm talking about focus and priority, where I'm talking about keeping it simple, and where I'm talking about keeping it being personal to you, are just all steps that really should be able to help you, not just in your wellness goals, but really in crushing your life goals. It's the same thing, because if to make money, for example, you make a money plan that's personal to you. Not all of us are teachers, but some of us are exceptional teachers. You want to keep it simple and you want to have your focus and priorities straight. So when we talk about it being personal to you, you have to look at your life in totality and look at your needs. So for example, if your current need is you don't sleep well, or you're under too much pressure and too much stress, or your diet is out of whack, or you're living on sugar and bread, or if you're not moving at all, so you're just very stationary and static. So the thing about human beings is that we are very dynamic. We've been created to be dynamic, and everything about us is forever changing. You're not the same person that you are when you are 20 years old and now that you're 30 or 40 or 50. Your body is not the same. Your mental state is not the same. So everything has to be personal. And you want to take inventory and you want to audit your lifestyle and you want to look at yourself and see, okay, what's working now? What's not working? Where do I need most help? Where can I up the ante? Where can I improve? I would suggest that you do this within the context of the wellness pyramid. So look at the different areas. Look at your rest and sleep. Look at your stress levels. Look at your diet and your nutrition, look at your exercise and your movement, look at your self-care, look at your environment and the toxicity levels in your environment, and ask yourself, in order of priority of 1 to 10, which is the most important? Which is 10 being, it can either be 10 being very good or very bad, and 1 being very bad, or 1 being very bad, very good, and 10 being very bad. So scale, grade yourself, and then decide what area needs urgent attention. That would be your starting point. So most people say don't focus on everything at once. really narrow down and choose 3 to 5 areas that you want to focus on. I would suggest if 3 areas is too much for you, focus on the most important thing. So for example, if I look and I say I'm not sleeping well, and because I'm not sleeping well, I wake up cranky. And because I wake up cranky, it extends to my family. I'm shouting at everyone. When I go to work, I'm asking, is she PMSing again? Like I'm PMSing every day. But really, when I look at my lifestyle, it can all be traced back to lack of sleep. So I can say my priority area is I'm going to focus on sleep. And maybe when I change my sleep patterns, everything else will now start falling into place. The other thing you want to do is you want to keep it simple. So I know, for example, that to address sleep issues, I can use lavender, I can use magnolia, I can use Roman chamomile, I can use vetiver, I can use cedarwood, I can use frankincense, I can use neroli, I can use bergamot, I can use cedarwood. Those are 9 oils. And if I'm telling you, okay, you want to address your sleep, use all of it, that's already overwhelming on your brain. So what if I just said, okay, you want to address sleep and you want to reduce your stress levels. Let's work with lavender first. That's a lot more manageable for somebody who's beginning their essential oil journey than trying to lump 9 oils on you to address one issue. So the other thing about essential oils is you don't need to start with all oils at once. You can just choose to focus on one oil, which will give you more mile for your money, and then you pick up from there. If you're like me, I went all in because I was really excited by the possibility of oils. But even when I got the first kit, I actually just used wild orange for 1 year before I opened the rest. It's only when I became a bit more curious and after using wild orange consistently for a time, then I was like, okay, you mean there are other oils I can actually try. And that's now how I kind of got into the swing of using essential oils. The other thing is that you really have to be intentional. And other words for intentional include, being purposeful, designing, being thoughtful. And we know that everybody says you either plan to fail or you fail to plan. And everything in your life has to be about planning. You have to be intentional about what's going on. Otherwise, if you're not careful and you're not thoughtful and you're not intentional about what's going on with you, you will fall for anything. And so the example I have for you is like with your diet. If you don't have a menu in place, if you're somebody who finds it really hard to kind of meet all your nutritional food groups, perhaps you need a menu. A menu is a plan of how you're going to eat your meals during the week or during the month. So many people seem to think that, having a plan in place is very restrictive, it's very tight, it's like a lot of work, but it's not. It saves you a lot of trouble in the long run. So you want to be intentional even with how you're planning to use essential oils in your wellness. So for example, if you're going to say, I'm going to use essential oils to help me with my sleep hygiene, the question therefore becomes, how do I do that? How am I going to do that? A plan is really how you're going to do it, because you have options. You could say, I'm going to have a relaxing bath with lavender in the evening, which will help me wind down and calm down. Or I'm going to add a drop of Roman chamomile to my evening tea, which will also help me calm down. Or I'm going to diffuse half an hour before bed. It sets you up. It's a structure that already begins to set you up for wellness success. So you're not just planning. So you're not just hitting and missing. Today you remember to put, you have a good night's sleep. Tomorrow things are so hectic, you've forgotten, and that goes out of the window like that. So you have to be intentional about everything. You have to be intentional about your workout routine, for example, your exercise and movement plan. Otherwise, you're going to be on a high. One day you're going to do 3 hours straight of workouts, and then you spend the rest of the month either recovering or you just drop off the wagon. So longevity with anything, not just essential oils, but really with anything. Anything to do with wellness, anything to do with finances, anything to do with everything. Really, it's just being intentional about it and deciding and making up in your mind that you're going to curate an essential oil wellness experience for yourself, because that's really what it is, so that it's both enjoyable and doable. It's not overwhelming. It's not something that you keep forgetting. So intention would also mean you're very aware of the pockets of time in your routine when you can actually put in essential oils, so that you're not just, again, it's not just flailing in the wind and hitting here, missing there, throwing, and you're very targeted, and this is how I intend to use essential oils to support me in wellness. The last tip that I actually have for you would be a little bit of a snippet from the first class we did, where I had my guest Ivy. When we started with Ivy on essential oils, her essential oil journey started with skincare. But as I listen to her and as I look at her and how she has grown in using essential oils, it has actually become a deep part of her wellness routine and self-care in particular.
Please, I don't call you as much.
Oh, yeah.
You're not my speed dial. I've gained more confidence, to be honest. I have truly understood for myself what it takes to transition or try out that.
And that's actually really the last point about essential oils. So many of us just know the usual. We know lavender, we know peppermint. If we're lucky, we know eucalyptus. Those are the three main oils that many people know. However, there are over 70, well over 70 different types of essential oils, and more are being discovered as we keep going on. So you want to give yourself some room to play and some room to experiment with different types of oils that you ordinarily would never have tried. So for example, if I told you there is an oil called spikenard, everybody would probably be like, spikenard who? But it's there, and some of these things are born out of just being experimental and being curious and looking and saying, okay, so how can I use this? And that is actually how you discover how to use essential oils for yourself more. I can give you a suggestion, for example, that you can put ilang ilang on your hair. Like if you have braids, put a drop, rub your hands, and become a walking perfume station as you go by, because you have lavender in you have ilang ilang in your hair. So I learned from Dr. Norita, who was my guest on the self-care wellness class, that she normally puts her diffuser in her wardrobe and allows the scent to just, the word is kuhinikiza, allows the essential oils to just diffuse her clothes. So she's stepping out in clothes that are smelling really nice and smelling really fresh. So with experimentation and play and curiosity, you're then able to develop for yourself an intentional wellness routine that is essential oil based. That really summarizes what everyday aromatherapy is all about. It's first of all just understanding that, essential oils are for everybody. Essential oils can be used every day within the context of a wellness plan, a wellness lifestyle, a wellness routine. And then just understanding that you need, when you're starting out, obviously you want to start small and build as you go, because that is the key to longevity. Essential oils will only work if you use them. So if you buy your oils and you store them in your shelf, or you buy an oil and you hide it in a drawer somewhere, or you buy your oil and you wonder, why did I even buy the oil? Don't buy it. Otherwise, it's just a fad. Don't jump into a bandwagon or a trend if you're not going to use it. If there is nothing else that you remember from this class, remember that wellness trends will only work for you if you work them out. And part, we're going to get to talk to Taigu and just hear how her experience has been using essential oil. Okay, very excited to introduce to you today's guest, my bestie Taigu. And Taigu has been using essential oils, doTERRA in particular, for a very long time. So I'm going to allow her to kind of introduce herself, say a little bit about herself, and then we're going to get into the question and answer about her experience with doTERRA essential oils. All right, take it away.
Yay! Thank you for having me on here. As Bree says, my name is Taigu Moshiri. just a brief background about myself. I am a communications professional, and I've been using doTERRA oils for about 5 years or so, 5 to 6 years, I think. I can't remember well. And using the oils has really complemented my journey, my wellness journey. I'm big on, mental health. I'm big on, being healthy. I'm big on general wellness, as a whole. So I'm glad to share my experience here today in terms of how I've incorporated essential oils into my daily routine. And I hope it can help you probably demystify some of the, false narratives that are there about essential oils. And hopefully you can incorporate the same into your daily routine. So thank you for having me.
No, it's awesome to have you on. And one of the things that as we've been friends for a while now, a couple of years, one of the things that has always stood out is how intentional you are with what you do. And even your journey of using doTERRA was like a step-by-step journey. And our starting point was actually back then in yoga when I would come back, I would come with essential oils and I would give them to you, and I had the cute little sample bottles. So do you want to really share your progression on how you started smelling from that first smell up until where you are today?
Yeah, sure. Wow, those classes, post-pandemic stories, before pandemic, not after. Pre-pandemic. Is it pre-pandemic? Yes.
Yeah.
Pre-pandemic stories. Yeah, so I remember you would come to class with essential oils and you would give them to me. And the first thing is you would just tell me how it smells. Even before I used it. And I'm big on scent because I have sinusitis and I have a very sensitive scent. I can pick scents from miles away. I can tell in our household, when the gas is leaking and no one else can smell it. So for me, my thing is scent. I love the way, for example, I love perfume. So those are things that, first drew me to essential oils. The fact that they smelled so good and they were not irritating my nose. Number two, they were not irritating my nose. I would not smell and then go, sneeze it out or feel so irritated or anything of the sort. So you would come with the oils to class, and some of them would use them in class because that class was sort of an unwinding class after a long week. And you would ask me after the class, so how did this feel? How does it smell? Do you like it? I remember even there's some several essential oils we put in inside our water bottles, as we were drinking water in class. And I would love their taste because it would taste different. Not sweet, not sugary, not, it would not make you feel like this tantalizing taste that is out of this world. It would be such a good feeling, and it would feel so good to your senses. And then you started packing the essential oils in small, tiny sample bottles. I don't know if you remember those tiny sample bottles.
I do.
And then you would tell me, just go with this and try it out. And then you would explain to me, this is what this does. For example, lavender, you'd pack lavender for me and tell me, this will help you sleep. So apply 1 or 2 drops, you would specify where, either the bottoms of my feet or at pulse points, as you're going to bed, just half an hour before you go to bed to help you unwind after a long day. And then you tell me how it feels. So that is how slowly I started my journey. And again, I think you found a gap probably in my life. For example, And then I would tell you probably I've had such a hectic day and I didn't know how I was going to unwind. In order for me to slowly ease into sleep, a good sleep routine. So you helped me with that. So that is how you started explaining to me by packing for me those small bottles and telling me this is how you use this. And then you would pack peppermint, and you would tell me this is good for ABCD. This is how you use peppermint, and I started incorporating it in my daily routine. Then I was at some point I was like, oh, this is really good. They smell so good. And they're not affecting me in any way. And I decided, you know what? It's about time. So as you said, I'm very intentional about my experiences. I'm very intentional, even for, if you remember very well, it took a while before I signed on, because I was very intentional, because when I sign on to something, I know that it's something that I have to constantly do, and I have to maintain that sort of lifestyle. So I'm very intentional about my health, about my well-being, because I spent, my 20s being very unhealthy. So I was very intentional coming out of that to, be very intentional about what I eat, what I drink. My exercise routine is very well crafted. I know what I want to do. I know what I want to work on. So all these things started now complementing my lifestyle. In terms of using essential oils, started complementing my lifestyle. Eating healthy, drinking water. Something as simple as a smoothie. I would probably add a drop or two of tangerine, or a drop of two of cassia, which is a relative of cinnamon. And as I said, I have a very sensitive nose. So I love perfumes, and I love perfumes that smell really good. So I would pick oils that are used as base tones for these perfumes. Even when you look at your lotion bottle, if you read the contents of your lotion bottle, it has at least one or two essential oils listed. So what I did, I just decided, you know what, I'm not going to be using something that is mixed up with other things, either diluted or adulterated with other components. So I decided to use its purest form. And this is what is so good about doTERRA. It's in its purest form. If you get that bottle of lavender, it's in its purest. If you get that bottle of peppermint, it's in its purest form. So all these things, um, perfume, that's what I started using. I started now using essential oils specifically, as opposed to perfumes, which are mixed with so many other things. So, I work out on a regular basis. So if I have an injury, I'll use an essential oil probably to to recover, or to help me, soothe my muscles after a workout. So that's how I started. It started with a tiny sample bottle to now my own collection of oils.
What you've actually said has opened up like a whole other set of questions. So we would say, how can you say using essential oils has impacted your wellness? So for example, when you say you love perfume, you love good smelling perfumes, and now you've switched kind of to the purest form of perfume, which is actually essential oils. So what kind of shifts have you noticed? Maybe because some people say, for example, when I smell a certain perfume, I get a headache, or like personally, I do know I when I'm in the presence of very strong synthetic fragrances, I do get a headache, and you can feel it coming from a very long way. So nowadays, like you, I also completely switched from synthetic, or I don't want to say man-made perfumes, but from, I don't know how,
Yeah.
actually, I don't know how to describe them, but let me just say I switched from perfumes, and nowadays I wear pure essential oils as my perfume of choice. So have you noticed any tangible benefits to using essential oils in lieu of synthetic fragrances in particular?
Yes, a very big difference. Just like you've said, for me, the thing that would definitely affect me is my sinusitis. I would go into a sneezing episode that would not stop. This sneezing episode that would not stop. So that is how I would differentiate. That is how I would differentiate. So when I get this sneezing episode, that's when I would know I cannot use this perfume. And please note, even when I was using perfume, I was mainly importing my perfume. Back then when I used to travel a lot, or I would buy from abroad and then, come back with them. They really smell good. We don't want to say that perfumes are the worst, but we know that there are some that are over the board, that are really, really pungent and strong. So for me, it was simply, and I think doTERRA once did a discussion on how perfumes are prepared and what kind of essential oils they use. So I specifically wrote down those specific oils that are used either as base tones to ensure that the perfume lasts longer. So that is how I realized there's this essential oil called, the one that always runs out, the one that I always want.
Sisters.
It's usually, sorry? Sisters. Now, Sisters is the holy grail of perfume oils. If you ever get a hold of Sisters, and if it's ever, because right now it's not even on sale, because the way doTERRA produce their oils, it's in its purest form. So if they feel that they cannot produce it in its purest form, they feel that, we'd rather do away with it. So I make sure that I get those perfumes and they're in their purest form. So for me, I've noticed that, for example, that specific oil stays on for longer. And then there are oils that are perfumes that are used during the hot season, not like we're in this phase of really hot season, because they stay on for longer. And of course, we have a colder season that starts June, July, August. So then I have, what is it called? Oils that are milder for that season. And please note, even when I wear Sisters, it has never irritated my nose. And yet it's one of the strongest oils that you can use as a base tone. Why? Because it's a pure oil. The way they use it, the science they use to extract it, it's very pure. So those are some of the differences I've noticed. If I would put on a certain perfume, for example, what you're saying, quote unquote, synthetic perfume, I would notice there's something off. I would go into this sneezing, endless sneezing, endless sneezing thing going on. But when I have the essential oils as my perfume, never sneeze, never irritated my skin. So that is the difference for me.
Oh, and one of the things that I'm so excited when I'm hearing you speaking is you very the word is not even accurately, but you just very genuinely, even without trying, captured how essential oils and aromatherapy uses is an art, because you have said, I have noticed that there are certain scents that last longer on me during the hot season. There are certain oils that last longer on me during the cold season. And so this is where using essential oils and everyday aromatherapy then becomes an art. And it's an art in listening to yourself, listening to your body, understanding your body, understanding your body's cycles, understanding your body's understanding how the environment will affect how things show up in your body, getting to learn and understand your body's chemistry. So for example, for me, my body has a really lovely affinity for the floral oils. So the fancier the floral oil, that's what I'll take. And I love that you captured that so well. Things that again that you've also mentioned in previous discussions was that wellness is 80% lifestyle. So in your 20s, you were rather careless, as were many of us with our lifestyle, because we knew we were invincible, like, yeah, we're in this thing, give it. But as you grow older, you realize how, of course, if you're blessed to be in your 20s or as a teen and you have wellness conscious parent or you're a wellness conscious individual, good on you, but most of us were not. And so we had to do a lot of cleaning up along the way after the fact, when you're realizing, oh, okay, I'm now 30, and you start hearing cracks that you didn't know existed, or you start getting aches and joints. So you really talked about wellness as being predominantly, in fact, we can go as far as saying wellness is 90% lifestyle. And that is the premise of self-care. That is the premise of wellness practices, that everything you're doing. And when it is a lifestyle, we've discussed lifestyle in depth in the very first class I did, where we're talking about building wellness habits. And it has to become a part of your lifestyle. It has to become a part of what it is you're doing. So do you want to talk to us about, was it actually an easy transition for you to get into essential oils? We've already talked that it was like a gentle process. We started slow, and then you eventually realized, oh yeah, this is actually supplementing my wellness routine, my wellness goals. So was it an easy transition, or did you struggle somewhere along the line?
It was not an easy transition. Nothing is ever easy when you're making life-changing decision, if I may call it that. I used to tell my nieces, keep reminding me this, that I used to drink 9 bottles of soda when I was young.
Wow.
When I was in campus,
wow,
I used to wake up and drink a bottle of Coca-Cola. Yes.
Wow.
And now I don't drink soda, I don't drink juice, I don't drink alcohol, I don't drink any of that. Why? Because it was showing up in my body, it was showing up in my skin, and mostly on my face. I had really bad acne when I was in my 20s, as I had mentioned. And that was because of an unhealthy lifestyle. So at some point, and please, this is a disclaimer, essential oils do not help clear up my acne. I had to go to a dermatologist please note, dermatologist, not these people who will mix for you, I don't know what concoction. No, a board certified dermatologist here in Kenya. And I think you hosted one a couple of weeks ago, or a couple of months ago. Go to a certified board dermatologist. It will cost you more, but this is the rest of your life. Your face will be on you for as long as you live. So I went to a dermatologist, but things that she mentioned was, you have to change, your lifestyle in terms of what you eat, what you basically put into your body. Those are some of the things that you have to be conscious about. So after that, and then of course, she mentioned other things, for example, sunscreen. Those are some of the things that you have to take care of, when it comes to your skin. And as you grow older, please believe you me, in our 20s, we didn't care about sunscreen. We were invisible to the sun. Yes, now look at us at our age. All we do is wear sunscreen because, we are afraid that we might get skin cancer or something. So anyway, so it was not easy. But it has to be intentional. It has to be deliberate. You have to make that decision by yourself for you to want to transition out of this bad lifestyle into a healthy one. And how did I do it? It's because I started noticing that, of course, I was heavier, I was bulkier, I could barely carry my own weight. That was the number one red flag, of course. And I was like, even taking a flight of stairs was difficult. You would go up the stairs and you would be panting. And, that was not something that someone would want to aspire. especially back then when, you know, I was just in my early 30s. It was not good. So it was not easy. Of course, you don't want to give up sugar, you don't want to give up, you know, the nice things that you've been used to taking. So how did I get through the process? For example, sugar, I can give you a practical example. Of course, a lot of my intake in terms of anything to do with anything to drink had to do with sodas, juices. So that was basically it. So how I slowly started to improve my intake of water is that I would add an essential oil to maybe a drop or two of essential oils to maybe 600, 700 ml bottle of water. So water and oil does not mix, but you can do warm water, then mix it so that it mixes, and then you take that throughout the day. So that helps your water intake. That is number one. And it reduces your sugar tolerance as well. So you find that, you know, you do not like taking water, but there is, you know, something else that you can do to improve the intake of water. So that is what helped me. And then, of course, I was very intentional about exercising. Of course, at first it was everything and everything and everything everywhere. You have to find something that you really like, that you really like, and you're going to stick to that routine. For example, I'm not into swimming. Please not. So I will not die swimming or struggling to find how or learn how to swim. I will not. To some people, for them, swimming is their go-to thing. So find whatever works for you. I will not give you options because I am not, you know, a certified wellness practitioner. So find something that works for you and then stick to it. Stick to that routine. So those are just practical examples of some of the things that you can start doing so that you start to slowly turn the wheel if you're really intentional about changing your lifestyle and changing and incorporating essential oils into your, you know, daily routine.
And on that note, I would just on finding something that really works for you, I would suggest that everybody goes and takes a look at the wellness pyramid. If you do a quick Google search, you can find it. But if you don't, go back to my YouTube channel, check out the very first class that I did. I have a whole slide in a couple of minutes where I talked about the wellness pyramid. So in each of those areas, rest and sleep, stress management, environment, informed self-care, nutrition and diet, exercise and movement, find at least one thing that you like, that can work for you, that you can commit to. And say, so for example, under nutrition and diet, you can say, I commit to eating more fruit. I commit to drinking more water. Find something, and you see, the beauty about wellness is that it's it's cumulative. Every little thing, every little coin that you deposit into your wellness bank eventually adds up into a whole bank account of wellness. So you want to be intentional, and you want to be really deliberate and focused about, taking your wellness, looking at those little wellness accounts that you have, taking them very seriously, and intentionally deciding to grow your wellness account in those areas. And speaking of things that you like, so what's your best part of using essential oil?
The best part is I have invested, of course, in a lot of literature. Reading, number one. This is one of those things that it's modern essential oils handbook.
Yeah.
So this, and it's quite bulky, you know. This is not something that I read every day, but it's something that I reference every time. Probably I need to use an essential oil. But I mean, the most exciting thing is that every day when I wake up, there's a way for me to use an essential oil. Be it that is a workout day, be it a rest day, I will wake up, I will eat my breakfast, I will go to the office, I will come back home, I will eat dinner, I will go to sleep. There's a basic routine for me. So for me, I think the most exciting part is the perfume part. I think for me, because I get to tell the kind of day I'll have. So I'm sometimes standing as I'm getting ready. I'm standing over my dressing table, and I'm like, so today, what kind of day am I going to have? I mean, how do I want to smell? Because I'm big on scents. How do I want to smell? How do I want to feel today? Do I have a meeting? Do I want to feel confident? Do I want to, those are some of the things that determine the kind of perfume I put on for the day. And when I say perfume, I mean essential oil for the day. So, do I have a really big meeting with really big clients that I want to impress? Then I put on my strongest perfume, just to make sure that I bump up my confidence, in terms of that. If I want a chilled day, a day that I am probably doing a lot of writing, doing a lot of thinking, doing a lot of, balancing here and there in terms of how do I balance my day out because it's sort of hectic. I use oils that are going to ground me. So you find that frankincense is my go-to oil when I need to feel grounded, when I know I'm going to have a super hectic day. Frankincense is a king of oils. It can act as your perfume. It is good for winding down. It is good for grounding you. It is good for just, when you feel like you are under a lot of pressure. It's just one of those oils that helps me to, calm down and think rationally. This is how I need to tackle my day. So for me, I think that's the most exciting part. Although it's usually, I know it looks like I take a whole 15 minutes deciding the kind of perfume. No, it's usually like a 5-minute thing. I look at my collection, I'm like, and then now doTERRA, what they've done, they have also introduced perfumes that are made from purely essential oils. So they have a blend. So if I have that, I'll just like, I just feel like being the strong woman that I am today. So that's what I'll put on. So that's what usually works for me.
You can actually see the excitement and sense the excitement in Taiku as she's talking about it. And one of the things that doTERRA people have in common is that we all love unboxing. Like when you get your box of essential oils, especially because for us it takes a while to get here, not days, but it literally takes us weeks for us to get our oils. But when we get them, it's really an exciting. It's like buying yourself doTERRA oils is almost like treating yourself. It's like giving yourself a gift. First, because it takes a while to get here, then because it's also quite expensive. And that's the other part I want to talk about. And maybe we can almost conclude with this particular bit about cost. You manage the cost, and has it been a worthwhile investment for you when you look at it? Because many people are off put when you tell them the cost of oil, because the truth is frankincense at the current exchange rate is easily going for up to 15,000 for a 15 ml. Not many people have that kind of budget set aside. So how do you manage the cost?
Oh, yes. From the discussion, I think most people can tell that I'm a very structured person. So with oils, I work with a list. So an oil can be on my list for about 1 or 2 years, just sitting there, waiting for the opportunity for me to just either get an offer, or it's just, one of those things that comes up during a random sale, which rarely happens with doTERRA. So there's something that doTERRA does that we love. And this is called BOGOs, buy one, get one free. And I tell you, if you're starting to build your oil collection, this is something that you should plug into. When they say buy one, get one free, you literally buy one at the rate of that one oil, then they give you the second oil completely free. That is how I have built my oil collection. The BOGOs really work really well, and they have an amazing team that curates these offers. And these offers are not the same. No offer is the same. They have 3 offers every year: March, July, and November. And no offer is the same for those 3 times in 1 year. And they never repeat offers. Like, this is what they offered last year in terms of pairings for oils. Some oils can also fail to feature in those offers. That's why I usually have a list. So my list can be 2-3 years long, and it just stays there. The other thing, like for example, you've mentioned frankincense. I buy frankincense once a year. And so and that once a year, it's the oils, the way I have said, the science, the potency of the oil. A drop will take you further. You don't need 10 drops of frankincense. You don't even need 5 drops. You just need 2 to 3 drops. If you're using it as a perfume, I do just like 3 drops. If you're using it to diffuse, 3 drops are enough. And you just get the benefits of the oil. So you don't have, it's not like you're pouring like water. No, it's not. It's just small little bits of drops that gives you the benefit of it's value for your money. That's number one. So in December, doTERRA usually for the amount of oils that you buy in December, they usually give frankincense for free, but you have to get those number of points for you to get it for free. So you'll find that sometimes I will push my big oils to my big my big purchases for oils in December so that I get the free oil. So yes, free frankincense. So it's about how you once you learn, once you see what your needs are, once you identify the priorities in terms of the essential oils that you want and the key essential oils that you need. For example, you say that you have to have an oil that helps you to sleep, you have to have a perfume, you have to have, one general for just, either helping you with sports injuries or something of the sort. So create that list. Start with that list. What do you want first? What do you want second? What do you want third? Then look out for those offers. Brie usually puts up on her social media pages when the offers are on. So you might think that it's an insane amount of investment, but as we have said, you're investing in your wellness, you're investing in your health, you're investing in the overall thing, so that you can be a better person, and so that you can be a better person. So those are some of the tips for me that have really helped in terms of managing the costs. So do not worry that you will buy an oil this month and then you will need it next month, unless you're just pouring it out
and wasting
it. Those oils are pure in terms of potency, so 1 to 2 drops are enough. And the way you use them, they can even take you sometimes from 3 to 6 months, depending. Please note, my 15 ml frankincense oil takes me up to probably November. December, I'm really emptying the bottle because I'm like, I've run out. So that's like 11 months of, using it well and knowing when to use it. So that's how I've managed the costs so far.
Oh, wow. And you've given some good points, because how you use an oil will also determine how long you can stay with it. If you like certain oils a lot, like what oil do I run through very quickly? There's one that I'm always replenishing and always buying, but that's because I use it a lot and I really, really like it. So my last question for you is, Twofold. What's your favorite oil and what's your not so favorite oil?
My favorite oil has to be frankincense. The moment I discovered why it's called the king of oils, of course, it has the biblical perspective. It's one of the oils that was brought to baby Jesus after his birth. It is essentially the king of oils. Why do I call it the king of oils? It smells so good, so damn good. And it has so many uses. As I've mentioned, I use it as a perfume. I use it when I need to feel grounded. I grounded. I use it when I'm stressed. I use it when I need to focus on a certain task. That is my favorite. Of course, I have many other favorites, if you ask me. There's of course Sisters, which is a perfect perfume. If you're planning on saving, and I also save a lot to buy oils. So another thing that you can do is save up. Save up to buy oils. Sisters, if you ever get a hold of this, please, please, please do. My least favorite oils. I've never found a way to use oregano, though I have it, but I've found that it's really good for cleaning up after I clean up my kitchen. I found that it's very good for cleaning the surfaces so that these flies, there's some tiny flies that are during the hot season when it's really hot, and especially when you have a lot of fruits, they come and sort of, eat and your fruit. So I notice it's very good for chasing them away because the scent is so strong. So I can say that is my least favorite, but I mostly put it in the kitchen and it keeps my kitchen smelling fresh. I use it also when I'm wiping down my fridge and my surface area in the kitchen.
I hope you really had a good time with Taihu's session. I did. That was actually a really good breakdown and a very clear and comprehensive way. It was good to journey with you through your progression, and that makes me happy. This is what I live for. Like when I have introduced somebody to doTERRA and I see you just going and going and gone as you use essential oils in your own wellness journey, and I'm happy to see how it complements. So a few words that I just want to really hone in on is that, yes, essential oils is complementary to a wellness lifestyle. That's why I call it a wellness tool. It is not a cure-all for everything, but it is it works in conjunction with other things that you are doing to help take your wellness game to the next level. All right, so I talk a lot about doTERRA, and my next class is going to be on the 6th of May at 11 a.m. And we're going to be talking about how do you get started. And I'm going to talk about the top 10 oils, which if you have these top 10 oils, you don't need anything else. Like you're really good to go. So I'm going to talk to you about why I actually insist on doTERRA essential oils. And I'm going to show you how to get started with essential oils, with doTERRA in particular. So mark your calendars for 6th of May. For those of you who are saying, I want to start now, where should we start? You can get started with my Essential Oils 101 class. It's a 10-day guided challenge on WhatsApp. And this class is actually what habit stacking is all about. We're going to be utilizing the principle of habit stacking, where I show you ways to incorporate lavender, lemon, and peppermint into your everyday routine so that you don't feel overwhelmed and so that we can start you off on the habit of using essential oils for wellness. So what do you get in this class? You're going to get lessons over on WhatsApp. I'm going to just really walk you through systematically. By the end of the 10 days, you're going to feel like you really know what essential oils and aromatherapy is all about. I'm going to give you a kit. This kit has 3 5 ml bottles of doTERRA, peppermint, lemon, and lavender. And at the end of the class, you receive an ebook which has over 50 uses of the 3 oils. And this class has been structured with homes in mind. you know, like within the schedule of your everyday. It's nothing fancy. You'll be very surprised at what you can do with these 3 bottles of oil within your everyday routine and schedule. So this class costs 7,000 shillings inclusive of the kit. You'll just have to reach out to me after and I can show you how to get started. Okay, some of the people who've taken this course have just really said a few things. Whatever I followed is well imprinted. It was a most amazing experience. And I like how you are engaging us and informing us on the use and benefits of each oil. I really love and enjoy teaching this class, and I hope that you will be able to participate in it with me. So yeah, I think that's about it for now. If you want to contact me, you can find me on YouTube, you can find me on Facebook, you can find me on Instagram, you can send me an email, and you can send me a text or a WhatsApp on my phone number. So thank you everyone for joining in on today's class. I hope you enjoyed it. I would strongly encourage you to go back and watch the previous 2 classes because everything is just building on everything. In my prayer for the classes for 2023, my intention really is to build a knowledge base. I want you to know that essential oils have a place in wellness, have a place in your wellness routine, and I want to show you how to do it. I want to show you how to do it systematically. I want to take the overwhelm out of your experience with essential oils. I want you to have an enjoyable essential oil experience. That's what it is all about. I want you to enjoy your essential oils journey. I don't want you to feel like this is too hard, this is out of my league, this is too expensive. I want to show you that it is possible for you to enjoy your essential oils journey. So thank you for joining me today, and we will see you on the next class.